All right. So we are live again. Actually, we're not live. Actually, we're live in this moment. And we both are
We're
live.
present.
We're so present. Once again, this is another awesome, fiery episode of Heart on Fire podcast. I'm your host, Marie Quizon, aka Maui, and I've had the most awesome time being able to live, share moments, and like so much laughter and joy with the artist himself, Vicio, and he has his own line of beautiful work, Vicio paintings, which I can't wait for him to kind of elaborate on. But without further ado, Vicio, would you like to say hello to all your viewers and listeners?
Yes. Hello, my name is Victor G, and I go by the artist name of Vicio Paintings. And thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. I'm so grateful that you have such a busy schedule, but you definitely have time to make what's important in your life. And, can you give a quick rundown? What are those top things that you value the most in your life currently?
Yes. Oh, so currently I'm an artist, and so I moved to LA to do acting and dance, theater, but life happens, and it's been such an incredible journey. It's almost 2 years since I've been here, and I am a father right now. I got a 3-month-old kitty.
He has a kitty,
I
y'all.
have a kitty. And that's definitely, it's crazy because that has changed the game. Like,
You're a-
I would have never thought.
You're like a pet father now.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. I am a father.
How has
right
that
now.
changed your schedule prior to what it was before?
Some sleepless nights, believe it or not. Kitties are kittying and meowing at all times of the day. And yeah, I mean, we're still just kind of figuring it out. I've never had a kitty. I've always had a dog. And it's like a whole different ballpark.
Okay. Wait, so you had a dog before and your dog was
She was a German Shepherd. She was my queen, but RIP.
fair enough, fair enough. I don't want it to escape away from the art that you mentioned before, but between art and acting, what do you say takes a higher percentage in your life? Or do you find a balance between both?
I think besides the art, or like between art and painting, like
Yes.
painting and acting.
Yeah, painting and acting.
I think right now painting has has all of my attention. I've taken a step back from acting because I came to LA with a vision and with an idea of what I thought LA was and what Hollywood painted and the media like created in our heads of what Hollywood was. But coming here and seeing that it is a very toxic environment, a very vicious world. And, I think there's still a lot of things that are wrong with that industry, especially I feel like it's still catering to white America. And I still think that these little token roles that they give us, these kind of like, okay, we'll let you be the lead type of thing. It's out of like them trying to be catching up with the times and being, inclusive. But in reality, we know who's running the show, And so what I am excited about is that there is a new wave of creatives, and we're making things happen, And I'm excited because I have been collaborating and creating work with some of the people that I know that are about to blow up. So it's exciting.
I love that. I love how you're able to, not let, your current environment shape you into what they want, but you're still allowing yourself to have your own identity. What is it about your identity that you feel is like your strong suit, your force to be reckoned with?
Yes. So I think growing up as a queer creative, I think it wasn't easy because already being creative and showing it was kind of like it was one of those things that you kind of kept to yourself. Especially me, I grew up on the west side of Chicago, so a lot of gangbangers, a lot of you had to show, a different energy, and if you weren't one of the bad kids, then you were getting screwed over by the bad kids.
Oh, no.
And so I had to learn how to adapt. So I was hanging out with gangbangers, and like I was a little tough, a little tough boy. But I mean, I learned a lot from that. And so I think, that kind of made me stronger in creating my identity and what I wanted to focus my art on. And that's what's helped me evolve into the artist that I am today and what I want to convey with my work.
Absolutely. And I've seen your art pieces in your humble abode, if you will. And is there anything that you would like to share about some of your upcoming artwork that you are hoping to showcase in a future gallery, perhaps?
Yes. So I am creating a collection right now, and it's going to be called Stolen Land. And it's just about how, as Americans, as North Americans, as Canadians, whether you have indigenous blood in you or not, we're all in a way thriving on stolen land. And I think a lot of people like to forget the history of this country. And so one of the pieces I'm creating, it's an indigenous woman making tortillas in her land. But then in the background, it's like downtown LA and, a street sign that says Santa Monica. So it's kind of like her land has been stolen, has been ripped apart, and she's just trying to make a living. So that's one of the pieces. Another piece is Afro-Latinos. That's a big part of our culture, but it's very kind of hidden. In Mexico, 2.5 million Mexicans identify as Afro-Latino, especially in the southern states.
Wow.
And that's a huge number,
Absolutely.
And when people think Afro-Latino, they think Puerto Ricans and Cubans and Dominicans and maybe Colombians. But, they're everywhere. And it's what our culture is as a Latino, especially as a Mexican, it's all woven in together,
Absolutely.
And so I think this collection is about the hidden voices. I also paint trans people and I think those are also hidden voices,
True.
So that I'm incorporating that into the collection too.
That is so big for you to be able to be a voice for other voices, like you said, that aren't heard. And I definitely applaud you for being able to showcase that through your artwork. If anything, we're probably going to give a link eventually to where we can eventually see your paintings, or where that will be in the future. So as far as getting to LA, can you tell me about some of the steps that you found yourself in before you came out here?
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy because
it's a big jump.
It was a big jump. And when we started talking about it,
yes,
it was okay. So you and I met during pandemic.
We definitely
did. So everything is all over the place. Everyone is healing. Mental health issues are through the roof. So I definitely was dealing with a lot of anxiety. And so I always knew I was going to move to LA. I just didn't know when. But especially because of pandemic, that wasn't even a thought.
Right.
And so when you and I met, it was just kind of like a breath of fresh air, and how we were sharing that. We
forgot where we were at in that moment. We were just living life, forget that there was a pandemic going on.
I mean,
kindred soul to kindred soul.
Exactly. I think that's why we connected too, because we're creatives, and we were on set and people were just like, are y'all best friends? Do you guys know each other? We're like, nope, we just literally met 10 minutes ago.
Thanks to God that we were able to meet that day.
Yeah, but we manifested that, and now we're here. But cut to 2021, you were such a big part of hitting me up and still keeping that conversation going. And then finally I was like, man, it's now or never. Right. Why do I have to wait for 10 things to align? It's embrace the uncertainty, trust the process. And so that was a big step in making that decision of moving to LA.
Hugely. And I know you've imparted with words on my personal mirror. And I was like, the first two are like trust God and like trust the process, you
Hmm.
know. And what I love about you being able to share that with me through a mirror is very pivotal because, you know, going on a faith walk and a faith journey, sometimes we don't even know where we're gonna be, and it's very telling about your journey to have faith in God to
Hmm.
even get you to places, to even get you to Cali. Can you talk a little bit more about your faith with the Lord?
Yes. So I was raised Catholic,
Hmm.
and obviously, like, you know, there is a lot of like, there's a lot of drama, right? When it comes
Trust.
to being queer and in the Catholic Church. But I think early on, I was going to catechism classes, and it was like, yes, gays go to hell, whatever.
Mm.
And there was an instant fear because I think I was like 8. Yeah, I think I was like 8. And I was like, oh my God, like, what? I'm like, so I asked my mom, and I was like, hey, is it true homosexuals go to hell? And she was just like, I love her because she was very, instead of going like, oh yeah, like she was like, that is what the Bible says, but God, we're all his children,
Hmm.
and, you know, he died for our sins. And if that is a sin, then those people will be forgiven. And so
Hmm.
I think in that moment, I was like, okay, whoa, hold on. Like, it made me realize that the love that my mom and my dad have for their religion, it's not even more about the judgment and the sins and all that stuff. It's about their love and their hope and their faith in God and what can I do for others. And so I think that stayed with me through my journey. So I was like, you know what? Like, that's such a beautiful way to live by. So that's what stuck with me.
I love
Because
that.
a lot of queer people are not religious, and I that makes 100% sense,
Mm.
right? I mean, you're being told at 5 years old you're going to hell. Like,
That's a tough,
I get it,
thought.
So power to you if you're going through your journey, if that's who you are, if you're an atheist, or you have every right to stand wherever, because the system was built against us. We've been going against the current. So, but it's beautiful to see people like me who were able to kind of pull away and look at it from a different perspective.
Hmm.
And I'm so glad I was able to do that at such a young age.
Yes.
So, and I think my love for God and always feeling him in La Virgen de Guadalupe, the Virgin Mary, if you can see, she's been a
Yes.
key role,
Okay.
a huge key role in, in my journey.
I love that how I mean, it's not really on your sleeve. Well, you do actually
Oh,
have, you
she's
actually do. She
everywhere.
is everywhere. No, I love that. That is, I don't know if you can even appreciate the detail, but that is almost as reflective of the painting that I got to see of the Virgen de Guadalupe that you did.
Yes.
That was such a extraordinary of a sight. I wish my reviewers can see that. We'll make that happen.
We'll post it later.
We'll post it later. But no, I'm glad to hear that your family was at least, bringing you to, the Lord and like being supportive as best as they can. I can only imagine how that was growing up with your siblings. Remind me, you do have two sisters.
Hmm.
They're amazing people. What was it like growing up with them?
It was awesome because we honestly, I'm telling you, like, I don't mean to say this, but some of the best humans I've ever met in my life are my parents and my sisters, because they did such a good job at like teaching us not to judge others, teaching us to do the best that we can to do for others, to love each other. And we're so empathetic because of that. Like, we have such a fire and passion in our souls, you
Hmm.
know? And so growing up with them, it was just the best. We were just like best friends, all three of us.
Did you find yourself immersed in your culture, being from where you're from, versus like American culture? Did you find you swayed one way or the other growing up?
It was tough because for all Latinos and for immigrants, it's tough. But when you're a Mexican, we're literally below the border. So in the movie Selena, I remember, can we talk about that?
Oh, absolutely.
The dad tells her, like, we're not from here, we're not from there. You gotta be better than the Mexicans so that the whites like you, and you gotta be better than the whites so the Mexicans like you when you're in Mexico, or something along those lines. But it was about like it's tough for us. So growing up in America, being Mexican was not easy,
Fair.
you know? And but that gave me so much strength and power and desire to like really be proud of who I am, where I come from, the culture. And that's what led to my art and like how can I convey what my culture represents to me and put it on a canvas or on a stage, you
Yeah.
know?
You can't be just limited to like one facet. You could be able to explore more options.
Hmm.
But before we go any further, we'll take a quick break and we will go to our sponsor. So yeah, meanwhile, like growing up, it's hard to kind of be able to balance both. But going back to being able to balance your acting and your own personal life, how did you find the space between those?
Oh my God. So I was doing Second City and I was doing two programs, the improv and the acting program,
Oh,
while trying to do auditions, while keeping two restaurant jobs. I'm a server bartender. So
two restaurant jobs. Okay.
they would call me the bag man or the bag boy because I had Whole Foods bags on me all the time because I was going from one place to the next. So I was just like, this is easier. This is where I keep my food. So it was definitely an experience, but I made such wonderful memories. I learned so much doing improv. And, you know, after the programs ended, I got casted for an official show. And
Wow.
we did it and it sold out those 2 months. And then pandemic hit.
Of course.
So when the